This video is going to be a little bit different from my usual ones. Usually I do like a full card tutorial, but this time around I'm not going to be doing one like that. It's just going to be a simple and quick explanation with some examples added in. And for this one we're going to focus on how adding character sprites from the in-game characters can actually enhance your card to another level. So as you can see already, I'm going to be using my Kaiju number 8 as a example because I found a way that I'm going to be enhancing it even further. So let's get to it. So for this one, the original source that I used for a reference has a lot of electricity going around right here. Right, this is the original picture that I used for a reference. So it has a lot of electricity around it, and I wanted to add that type of effect in to try to enhance it, right? But for this one, I use Karen, Last Piece Karen, because Last Piece Karen has a lightning effect around her. And what I did was I made Karen super big, right? And then I moved her to the side because I don't need Karen on the screen. I just need the effects. So that's how you do it. You make it big and then you move it to the side so that only the effects show through. And I'll show you an example again one more time because I found something that I want to add in. So I was going through all the character sprites and I found one that has electricity to it that I want to add, which is Senya. As you can see here, Senya's spear has electricity flowing off through it, right? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make her big, maybe this size, and we only want her electricity effect here. So what we're gonna do is we're going to try and replicate this effect right here that's going off of his eye. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna flip it, rotate it, so that this electricity line shows up and goes into his eye, like so. We also want to make it so that we can't see Senya on the screen anywhere, so we gotta just keep on fiddling with it until that's how we get it, which is right here. Let's make her spin a little bit more, and then we're gonna pull her up all the way over here so that we only get the electricity part right here. As you can see, I don't see Senya anymore because she's all the way up here. And let's lock it in, save it. And here's the cool part, right? For Karen, as you can see in the, hold on, let me just hide this real quick and save it. For Karen, we don't see her effects in here because that's just how some characters are. Sometimes you see the effects on the card, on the static card, sometimes you won't see it. You just have to fill in with what appears and what doesn't appear there. And if we go back and reveal Senya again, right here, and save it, we can see that her effect shows up on the screen right here. So it's very cool, very cool. But the thing is that we need to move her again, and we can't move her again because I can't get her again because she's all the way up here and I can't click her anymore. And I can't click her anymore. That's the thing, right? So we have to remember where we put it. So remember where we put it. So remember where the ending of the line ends here, and we want to make it here. So, or the ending of the lightning to make it a little bit more clean, right? So we got to do it again, and there's just trial and error. That's why this takes so long. Trial and error. We got to do it again. One more time. Make her big, as is. Let's hide Karen for now. Tilt her a little bit right here. And then the ending actually goes to the eye now right here. Or the ending of the lightning. Let's move it a little bit down. A little bit more right here. Lock it in place. And now we see that it goes right here now. So looks clean. Leave it as is. Okay, so let's just pretend that this square right here is like an iceberg or something, right? And or maybe you have like a character that has that you made a character that has some sort of like ice element to it. Maybe a prime example of this would be kind of like Rukia from Bleach, right? She has a lot of ice powers. So you can go in and find characters that can enhance the feel of like ice, right? And a couple of characters that I found that enhances it is Payra right here. You can't really see with the black with the background, so I'll just change it to gray or black, right? Just change it to black. And Payra right here has let's make this kind of like this blue color right here. Payra right here has an aura. You can use this button right here to flip her. Payra right here has like a bluish aura to her right here that you can use for kind of like an icy aura feel, right? So you can use that in there, and you can see that the effects goes here. It makes it a little bit different, right? You can also use her claw if you want to for that, but I tend to just use this piece right here, which has a lot of kind of like aura effects to it, stuff like that. Another one you can use is Elvira. I believe Elvira is a thief too, and this one doesn't necessarily have kind of like the aura feel to it, but what it does have is this mist effect right here, right? And when it's chilly, it's misty, right? So let's just hide these for now. This and this. When it's chilly, you have some sort of like, you know, the cold atmosphere, and it gives off that chill, right? You can use this for the chill. This could be smoke too, or fog or whatever, but it has that chill feel to it, so you can use that. So sometimes what appears on the dynamic card isn't what always appears on the static card. I'm gonna show you a couple examples right here. And I think one of the biggest perpetrators of this is actually Kayron. So Kayron, you think that he might not have anything, right? But if you look closely, he has this purple, kind of like purple effector here, right? And you might think, okay, well, I don't really need a purple effect in my card, but if I save it here, right? This is purple here, but when you go onto the static card, what's the effect? It turns white. For some odd reason, it turns white. So you could use this effect as sort of like more smoke or something like that. But like I said, it's not always as it appears. And I don't know why it does that. And yeah, but it just happens, right? So if you want like you could use this for a purple effect on the dynamic card, but you could also use it as a smoke effect on the static card. So it goes like 2 and 2 together. Another prime example of this would probably be where is her? Ravi right here. So Ravi has kind of like a fireball right here, right? That you can use. Let's just flip her all the way around right here. So Ravi has a fireball, and I don't want her axe in the picture, so I'm gonna tilt it to the side like this. So Ravi has this fireball right here, and you might think, well, what can it be, right? It could be a light source of some sort. So I'm gonna hold Ravi off to the side right here, and I saw a scene in Jane Doe's trailer which I thought was pretty interesting, right? So this is the scene right here. As you can see, everything's dark, but she has some sort of like a light coming up from the top right here that's going down and illuminating everything. And with this, you could kind of imitate that, right? So I just saved it. I'm gonna go back out. As you can see here, it's like a faded in light source that gradually fades it down. Out, right? So you can use that as some sort of like light source. You could also use characters to recreate objects in your card that you might have thought about making with layers, but you could just replace them. A prime example of this would be Elfelt right here. So let's just say you're thinking about making a flower or whatever, right? Well, instead of making a flower with a bunch of layers, you just use Elfelt as a single layer, and bam, you have your flower. Keep in mind that your flower needs to be off to the side somewhere, because you don't want, once again, you don't want Elphel herself in there, you just want her flower, right? That's all you want. And another example of this will probably be the Violet skin right here. Violet has a bunch of flowers right here. You could use his flowers as some sort of like decoration or border right here. Like I say, you don't really want Violet. Just use it as, like, you know, a cute border decoration, or it could be some sort of like a, what do you call those things? Like a, you know, the flower hat, not a flower hat, but the, you know, the ring that they make of flowers around around a character's face, or around a character's head. You can use this instead and just put it over the character's head. And let's just pretend that maybe the character has, I don't know, blonde hair or something like that, right? Character has blonde hair. Yeah, character has blonde hair with some sort of like flower thing over their head, right? So this is the hair, and you can just use, instead of using all of those layers for making the embroidery or whatever it is, you can just use Violet instead. And sometimes you can even use characters to like recreate scenes and recreate like an object entirely. So, and for that one, we got like embroidery. An example of this would probably be Fenris, right? So I'm just gonna pull up an example of this because I created it previously before, which prompted me to do this video. But here's what I had, right? So this is the scene in Up's married life, and I thought, maybe I could probably recreate that as a scene somehow in the card maker. And here's what I did with it. You know, it's kind of like just something I put together in a few minutes. But here we have Fenris's tree effect, and this is Sylvan Sage Vivian's tree effect as well. And you put those two together, they kind of like make a trunk and a tree, right? Or a tree with leaves. Which kind of recreates this portion right here, and you can just use that as kind of like this tree right here, and kind of recreate the scene. I could see the scene being recreated, but stuff like that, right? And there are all sorts of things you can use. You know, maybe your character has some sort of fire effect to it, like Rengoku or something. You could use. You can use Janua. You can use Hua-Young. Where's Hua-Young? Yeah, Janua, Hua-Young. Right here, see where the fire effects goes in, right? Hua-Young right here, and then Janua off to the side right here. All these cool effects that you could use to enhance your card, make it look cooler. And that's gonna be the end of this video. Sometimes people ask me, "Oh wow, how did you like get this thing in there? That's so cool." And I tell them, you just gotta throw around with it, find out what works and what doesn't work. Find out what looks good or what comes up on the dynamic card, which is the card that people see when they look at your profile, and then the dynamic card, the card that people see when they queue up against you, because they're two completely different cards. And sometimes what works in the other doesn't work in the what works in the dynamic card doesn't work in the static card, and vice versa. So you just got to fiddle around with it. The only downside to this is that in order for you to use the card, or in order for you to use the characters, they must be in your character inventory, not pulled and then put away in storage. It has to be inside your inventory, one that you can select. It has to be. So that comes with the conundrum: should I pull or should I not pull? Obviously, if you're free to play and you're low on resources, you should just pull for units that you want to use, right? But I'm at the point of the game where I'm pulling units not for the gameplay, not for whatever, but to see what they can do in the card, right? And that's why I pulled Fenris, because Fenris is such a bad unit right now. Fenris is such a bad unit right now. Barely usable. I don't recommend you pulling for him. But look at this. This effect is triple S tier in the card maker. That's literally the only reason why I pulled him. So to each their own, I guess. If you play this game for the card, you should pull Fenris. If you play this game to actually play this game, you should hold off. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks for watching. Peace.